The Krillian war machines closed in with mechanical precision, their photon cannons humming with lethal energy. Lieutenant Kira Voss gripped the broken shaft of her plasma spear, its crystalline tip scattered across the crimson sand of Xerion Prime. The neural feedback from her suit's tactical display painted a grim picture: 17 hostiles, ammunition depleted, backup still 47 minutes out. Her breathing apparatus recycled the same stale air as she calculated the odds. The mathematical certainty of death had always been a comfort in her line of work, but today it felt particularly unwelcome. The Krillians advanced in their characteristic formation, tripedal walkers bristling with enough firepower to level a city block. Their optical sensors swept back and forth, searching for the optimal firing solution. Kira had seen what their weapons did to armored vehicles. Her environmental suit would offer about as much protection as tissue paper. She pressed her back against the twisted remains of her crashed reconnaissance pod, feeling the heat signatures of the enemy growing stronger through the metal hull. The quantum communicator in her helmet crackled with static. The electromagnetic interference from the Krillian dampening fields made long-range communication impossible. A shadow passed overhead. Kira looked up, expecting another enemy dropship, but instead saw something that made her question her suit's atmospheric readings. A human figure was falling through Xerion's thin atmosphere, arms spread wide, no visible propulsion system or parachute. The trajectory was all wrong, too controlled, too precise. The figure landed with impossible grace 20 meters away, boots touching the ground with barely a whisper. Male, average height, wearing what appeared to be a simple black jumpsuit with no visible armor or weapons. His face was calm, almost bored, as he surveyed the ring of war machines surrounding them. "Mind if I join the fight?" he asked, his voice carrying clearly across the battlefield despite the howling wind. Kira's tactical systems screamed warnings as the Krillians redirected their attention to the newcomer. "Get down," she shouted. "Those are military-grade photon cannons." The stranger tilted his head, studying the nearest war machine with the curiosity of a child examining an interesting insect. "Photon-based? How quaint." The lead Krillian fired. A lance of concentrated light, hot enough to vaporize tungsten, blazed toward the man's chest. He raised his hand almost casually, and the beam simply stopped. The energy hung in the air like a frozen lightning bolt, crackling and twisting before dissipating harmlessly into the atmosphere. Kira's suit registered impossible energy readings. The man hadn't used any technology she could identify: no force fields, no reflection matrices, no quantum manipulation devices. The beam had simply ceased to exist upon contact with his palm. "My turn," he said. He gestured toward the nearest war machine, a lazy flick of his wrist. The 10-ton mechanical walker lifted off the ground as if gravity had suddenly decided to take a vacation. It spun slowly in the air, its weapons firing wildly in all directions, before folding in on itself like origami. When the compression stopped, what remained was a perfect sphere of twisted metal the size of a basketball. The remaining Krillians opened fire simultaneously, 16 beams of destruction converging on the stranger's position. He stood unmoved as the energy weapons created a light show that would have been beautiful under different circumstances. When the barrage ended, he was completely unharmed, not even a scorch mark on his jumpsuit. "Kira Voss," he said, turning to face her. She hadn't told him her name. "I'm Marcus Kane. I've been watching your species' war with the Krillian Empire." "Watching?" Kira's voice cracked through her helmet speaker. "Who are you?" Marcus smiled, an expression both kind and terrifying. "Someone who's decided your species deserves a chance." He looked at the remaining war machines, which had stopped their advance and were now broadcasting what sounded like frantic communication bursts. The Krillians have been expanding unchecked for 3 centuries. They've consumed 47 civilizations. Another gesture, and 5 more war machines crumpled like aluminum cans. That ends today. As the last of the Krillian forces fell silent, Kira realized she was witnessing something that would reshape the entire galactic conflict. Whatever Marcus Kane was, he wasn't human, at least not entirely. And he'd just declared war on the most powerful empire in known space. The mathematical certainty of death had been replaced by something far more unsettling, infinite possibility.